Hello, thank you very much for being here today. This is Juan Carlos Arcila from the Art Design Project, an online gallery based in Florida. Today we're going to be talking to Luca Artioli from Italy. He's one of the artists that we represent, and we're going to invite him to be part of this chat today with us, and we're going to his recent experience during the pandemic. He's in Italy at the moment. Luca, hi.
Hi, how are you? Juan
Good.
Carlos?
For the first time doing an Instagram live, you're very good.
Thank you.
Have you been? Where in Italy are you?
Right now I'm in Milan, and I was able to come back from Val d'Aosta in the Alps, where I did my quarantine period, about 2 months.
Wow, about 2 months.
Yeah.
And everything is good with your family and
Yes, thank you, thank you. It has been very tough here in Italy this moment. But I was able to escape in the Alps, and I was safe, and so everything is fine. Thank you.
that's great. Yes, we've been lucky have the work of Luca for some time at the Art Design Project. You know, his work is impeccable, and he is very much into document, I would say, the scheme of the city and the scheme of life through your images. But how did this start, Luca? How did you start? You were a banker before.
Oh yes, well, it's a long story. I was graduate in economics, and I worked in a bank in the finance for many years, until I felt something inside me that was saying to me, "This is not going to help your life. Stay in the finance, in economics. You need to change your life." And I was hearing to my soul, and my soul was telling me, "You need to become an artist." So from zero, I started to try to study photography. And to realize my dreams. That was quite difficult, but eventually, when you are very motivated, you are able to succeed.
And then, but when you were, in your childhood, you ever dream on it? You kind of have any spirit, or is something that your spirit just decided to, I'm gonna become an artist?
Yes, no. When I was, I always been fond about art, but never about photography. So when I decided to become a photographer, I didn't study photography. I just felt that was the tool good for my creativity. So I started to take my first photos, but of course I didn't have any technique. I didn't study the camera. I didn't even have a professional camera. After a few weeks, I was able to show my work to an important Italian photo editor, and I was very thrilled about this opportunity. And when I went and I showed my work, he said, "Luca, your work is really horrible. It's really awful. Please don't make lose my time." And I was, oh my God. I didn't imagine to find such an aggressive reaction, because you can say, well, maybe you need to study, maybe this. But he said, "Oh, no, 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 this is horrible. I don't want to have nothing to do with you." And so and so I had to learn by myself why it was bad, this work. And I understood there was no technique, there was no professional equipment. And so after that, I took a master in photography. And after 2 years, I was able to start again my conversation with photography, and so I was able to succeed and to start working like a professional photographer.
Okay, and when do you think you passed through the career to become from a photographer to an artist? How do you think it was? It was your. What was that big break, or how do you call that to yourself?
Well, actually, I never thought that was possible. I mean, and it was, I didn't even think that one day I could become an artist doing photography. Other people had a vision, seeing my work. And the other people told me, "Oh, this work is kind of artistic," and so I've been contacted by a couple of art galleries, by Hermès, that is the French Maison Hermès, and that made me realize a beautiful artistic project for Hermès. And so after I realized that that could be, it was my way to realize photography like fine art photography. Well, but when I started, I thought I could be a photographer for a magazine, for newspaper, or not for art.
Yeah, but it's somehow, you know, your work is a bit of a documenting. You know, you document the pieces, and you're kind of like take a look of what is there in the skin of either the nature or the somehow the architectural part. You're fascinated by contemporary and also all architectural statues and things like that, and that development is a life between that you have between Italy and Miami. You know, you had to kind of like do the skin of the antiques of Italy, and then the sort of deco contemporary architectural of Miami.
Yes. Well, first of all, I try to tell history, a story with my photos. So regarding the Roman statues, or all my research, artistic research about Roman statues, I took those photos with ICM technique, that means intentional camera movement, with the idea to deconstruct the marble, and the cold, and to realize a kind of softness in the images, a pictorial effect. So the photos are intentionally in movement, and this creates a sort of epidermic of surface, very smooth, very not so cold. So my idea was to try to make those statues that are old 2000 years to like alive again, like they can speak again, they can tell us a story. And their skin, the skin of this statue, are not marble or cold, but they are alive. So that was the idea when I realized this project about Roman statues. Regarding the modern architecture, like the skyline of Miami, I
Can
took,
we just take a whole? I love to you talk to me about these particular images, and let's just, if you don't mind, to focus on this part of the work of the Roman statues. You know,
yes.
coming to this, tell us a bit what the story, how, when is something that you take within the museum close, or is an instant images. How do you achieve this with such a level of perfection? Because I have seen these amazing images blow up and large, and they're quite spectacular.
Yes, usually I go to the museum before with I visit all the museums and churches, or museum not only in Italy but even museum around the world that has Roman statues in their collection. So I did really a big research. Usually I go to see how the light is, how the light it falls on the statues. And so the lighting is very important. And I discovered that there are very important architects of lights that enlighten those statues. And so when I see the light, I start to figure out which is the best way to take the picture, to isolate the status from the background. So I do a little study, and after I come back in the church or in the museum and the collection, and I take the picture, trying to, most of the time, move my camera in order to create this pictorial effect that the still photos doesn't have on the marble. Because so it's a way to add a sort of emotion, a sort of dreaming aura on the pictures.
Mm-hmm. And then, but then they become alive, like you say. You know, it's amazing how these fantastic sort of crops of the image make them very subtle and natural with the light.
Yeah, I can see the sensual, and now there is the body of a woman, and it's very sensual. It's very in a way very erotic. But the fact that the photo is not still create even more a sense of fluidity and
Movement.
softness
Yeah.
of the structure.
Yeah, and it's also somehow some kind of movement, but of course it's intentionally the movement. But
It's intentionally. I put long exposure, and I try to do micro movement up and down or left and right, depends on what I want to the act and that I want to create. And in this way, I deconstruct the marble, the solidity of the marble, and the marble became a sort of lighter, and it lose its weight.
yeah, his heaviness, his coldness, his yeah, it's one of my favorite images which I showed at the beginning was this one. You know, it's just to see that.
Yes, this is just a hand that I reversed the photo, so this is the negative, and if you think that this is a marble statue, but looking at these images, it conveys a sense of energy, of warmth, and the touch of the hand. You can almost can feel in your hand,
Yeah,
and you it's like that you want to touch this hand.
absolutely, I love it. And but you know, it's if you choose this particular subject, and when we see them in big, large prints, or even in the small ones, they're very precious objects. You know, the quality of the print and the paper is
Yeah.
impeccable.
Yeah, that's. I'm very happy you did this question, because I print my work only in very important professional photo lab, and I follow up all the production, and it depends. The effect of a photo depends uh, about what kind of paper do you choose, or if it's glossy, or if it's made, or if a paper that has a lot of cotton inside, so that gives a little bit more of a watercolor effect. Or even in some case, you can print on fabric, and that creates even the idea of an old arazzo. I don't know how to say, of a tapestry, how to say in English. But so it's
Yeah,
very important, that the professional paper that you choose, and the fact that the print have to be done by a professional photo lab.
yeah, and the archival. You know,
Yes, archival prints, and so it's guarantee the last of the photos, and it's protected, and so the photo can be collected, and in this way, and the photos are printed only in limited edition, that can be between 3 to 10, usually not more than that.
yeah, we've been very, very, very lucky to sell some of your pictures to some other collectors, and they're all over the world, and they're wonderful. This particular image of this statue, you know, and movement and solarized, and these 3 different colors. You know, it's just endless, the amount of possibilities that you can do when you got the right angle, I guess, no?
Yeah. Yes, it's endless, and for me, when I do this kind of photos, I start a dialogue with the statues. So I spend like half an hour or 1 hour in front of the statues, and I start a dialogue and say, okay, statue, who are you? You represent an emperor, you represent an important a warrior, and what was your story? I want to tell this story right now after 2000 years with my art, and so it's a dialogue at the start with the uh, with the artist that did the statue 2000 years ago, and with the person that is represented by in the statue. So it's interesting, and the fact that I try to make a sort of dialogue of history, and this person brings back these people from the past to our days and into the future, maybe one day.
Yeah, no, it is important to go back to the beginning of the conversation where you mentioned that, you know, there was an internal choosing that you have as a wanted to become an artist and wanted to recreate it, and then to see, you know, to cross the bridge from trying to modernize or at the same time uh, enlarge these crops of the sculptures and the statues all around the world, you know, and you study them and you talk to them and you feel them. You suddenly come to Miami and got seduced by the color and the sun and the skin of the architectural of the city. And you would just went around and document all these amazing spaces doing this conjunction between color and architectural. How did that happen?
Well, it's the dialogue between the architecture, Miami architecture, started immediately when I moved to Miami back in 2008. I was first fascinated by the Art Deco of architecture that we have in Miami Beach, one of the biggest Art Deco
Districts.
district in the world. And so I started making pictures about this amazing Art Deco district. And I realized my first exhibition in Miami was in 2009 in the Wynwood Gallery regarding Art Deco, that I called Art Deconstruction, because I wanted to deconstruct the Art Deco elements and to give them another vision in a modern era. And but besides that period, the architecture period, I was fascinated even by the new Archistar buildings, and that I found extremely amazing and strong and powerful. And I was able to witness all the difference of the skyline between when I arrived in 2008 and now. In 12 years, the skyline has been is bloomed. Now there is so much new construction that it's difficult to find a city that in only 12 years has changed its skyline so much. So the beauty of Miami weather and Miami light helped me to take pictures of the buildings, and even for doing this, you need to do a research, like to know when the sun create some shadows, when the better hours. So you need to make a study of the building. You cannot just show up in front of the building with your camera. You need to know when what is the difference between taking picture in the morning and in the afternoon. And after, if you want to balance the black and white, the sky with the structure, those volumes has a lot. You need to balance those volumes and to crop them in order to create harmony. So this was my intention.
And it happened beautifully also with black and white structures. We see in this particular image, which is also one of my favorites, is how the contour of the new architectural of these new buildings and the crops of this particular height, and you just take them to pure black and white.
Yes, well, it's important when you see a building, the old building, yeah, you want to add like an artist, like a photographer, a vision, an artistic vision. So cropping the images, or say, okay, I want to just to valorize and put attention on this, because these curves, these lines are, I feel deeply connected with this. And so that's the work of an artist, not just doing for a building like a photo of the old building, but to create a dialogue with the building. And so say, of the building, I like the top, I like this in the afternoon, but in the morning the sun hit the roof in this way. And so you start to take pictures of the building in different part of the days, hours of the days, and try to create your vision, your idea of that building. And so that's very challenging for an artist.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when they are photographing the artwork of somebody else in a way, because the sculptures were done by somebody else, the buildings were
Yes.
done by somebody else, but to be able to take your point of view and represent it in an image is quite a challenge.
Yes, that's otherwise you are just somebody that try to, okay, to portray the work of an amazing artist, contemporary of the past. But if you are an artist, you want to add something to, you want to start a conversation with the architect that did that, or with the artist that make the sculpture 2000 years ago. And this is what is powerful for an artist, to give his vision and to add a particular point of view to the scene and to the object. This happens even with my work because I like to collaborate sometimes with other creative minds like designer or architects or interior designer, and I see that they watch my work in a different way. Even you can see potentially of my work that I don't see, and you can say, oh Luca, why we don't pick these 3-4 photos and we put together, because together they are powerful. So I don't see that maybe, but you see. And so this is even the work of an art curator to do, to valorize the art of one of his artists.
Yeah, we have a great fun putting together these selections and these particular editions. When you brought the work, thanks to a very dear friend and common, Massimo Melchiore, and he presented to me, and I was just trying to put it together in a way to understand, and select this series, the architectural series and the sculpture series, and focus on that. But then, you whirl, you document as well. It's something you always very active, taking these pictures everywhere you go. So you're having now doing videos. We're gonna show very soon this video that you did in homage to New York during the time of COVID-19. We're gonna now show it very soon during this interview. But you always, after the news and after the emotions of the people on the beach or on the city, or just jumps of happiness of humanity. And that during this time in the pandemic, you were shaping in the Swiss Alp, I believe you were shaping the snow and trying to make something about it. Tell us about that experience.
Yes, that was uh, uh, for the very first days. It was a little frustrating because oh, I'm stuck here in this mountain house. And what I'm going to do now? I mean, and how I can produce my art. And so I decided, well, I can start a new conversation with nature, and I can see how the same trees in front of my garden in the change with the snow, with the melting of the snow, with the changing of the seasons. Because I was there from February, from the end of February through June, through few 2 weeks ago. And so I could see all the cycle of the nature again. And when you are like me, a photographer, an artist that works between two countries, Italy and United States, and you travel a lot all the time, you lose the sense of the time and of the season. You are always in a rush, and you are
Yeah.
always in a hurry. Now I was forced to stay home, and we were in Italy in a strict lockdown, so I could not get out my garden, my place, because we were not supposed to do that. And so I decided, okay, I want to find again the contact with nature that maybe I've lost in these latest years. And this helped me a lot, staying still in 2 months. I was trying to move again with just moving my camera and taking pictures of the same object in the or the same garden in a period of time of 3 months, more or less, that I spent there in the art.
Yeah, and then from this fantastic flag that you kind of like make a transparency in black and white, you then went and document this moment that you saw through your travels, and you created this video, and we're gonna show it very soon. Tell us about the music so people understand what was the music about.
Well, the music of the video, I don't remember actually the name of the composer, but it's is written right now. It's written of the, but I choose. I want to work with that music because that music is very music. And that music is really helps the movement of the pictures when you are able to visualize the whole project. So it's a way when the music and images fly together and can add a sense of strong emotion to
Yeah.
everybody that is watching the video.
And these images, you took them from the internet, or they're images that you took yourself and you have in your archives?
The image is about what the project of New York.
Yes.
It's that image is no. I took those images the year that I lived in New York City. And of course, I didn't. I took these images because I spent 1 year, and I want that in New York. I want to take picture of the city in the 4 seasons, and I was able to take pictures intentionally without people and with people. So because I want to show the contrast. Now I use those photos from my archive to create an homage to New York. Because New York, like Milano, these two cities has been hit tremendously by the coronavirus. So I said I want to do a homage to New York City, because New York City gave me a lot, and this is a way to return your gratitude to the city. And so I realized this video with this very strong and beautiful music, showing the first part of the video, the city isolated in lockdown, and the last part of the city, the life that starts again in the city. So it's a message of hope, resilience, and the light.
I'm gonna play it. It's 2 minutes and 43 seconds. So this is our first time seeing here and on Instagram, I guess, this video of Luca Artioli, and it's also 2 minutes and 43 seconds, an homage to everybody that is up there working really hard. You know, the doctors, the police, the activists, everything that is happening now with Black Lives Matter. So let's just, if you don't mind, take these 2 minutes and 43 seconds in silence for people to see it.
Thank you. I can't hear the music though.
But people does.
Oh, good.